one of my favorite things to do, and I just found out that I will be doing this like in November, is actually helping teams who come from different backgrounds, like to try and communicate better together. And I work a lot through reasons I'm still not sure. I work a lot with Nordic companies, like Danish and Swedish companies. And if you ever talk to a Swede or a Dane, you know that they're extremely direct people. They don't beat around the bush. They just like what they think, they say. It's all about efficiency. It's all about getting things done. And you can imagine when they come to China, or when they have things going on with China, they don't necessarily change the approach because their approach works wonderfully in their own country. So if nobody tells them, they keep doing what they're doing because that's what we as humans are, programmed to do.
Yeah.
If something is working, why change it? Which is a fair approach.
Well, it's also logical, right? Like to be direct, like I'm going to say how I feel and communicate exactly what I mean.
Right.
And so it's logically, it works.
You've been in China long enough to know that that's not true.
Well, I know it doesn't work here, but I'm saying for them.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Because I had the same issue. Yeah.
Right, absolutely. And like, again, people are like creatures of habit. So anything that has worked before, like if nobody tells you it's not working, why change it?
Yeah.
And then when they arrive here, they go, especially like managers or like team leaders, they go and talk to their team. And maybe they're very, very honestly and earnestly point out in front of everybody that someone has made a mistake. And that's where things get complicated because the team, especially in Asia and specifically in China, gets a little bit offended, like, why is this person trying? Yeah, they lose face. And then, there's a whole thing going on. And like, the people especially coming from Europe, they don't realize what they've done. They just notice that the work doesn't get done, that people are not as helpful as they used to, or like it takes longer to get a decision. And they wonder, is it because of the business? Is it because of the strategy? And maybe sometimes it's just one wrong comment that sidetracked the whole relationship, working relationship, like team dynamics. And so having these honest conversations about, in Europe and in these particular countries, people are used to be more direct. It's nothing against you, it's something that they're used to do. In China, people are used to be more indirect because they value more harmony and team dynamics over to necessarily bluntness. And so just letting people be aware of this can be a game changer. It doesn't necessarily improve things, 1 second from the other, but just knowing that that's a thing.
Yeah, so they're not as offended because they know it's a cultural thing and it's not something directed personally towards them, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think that's so true. Just the very awareness of that works wonders because it's almost like both sides are going to meet each other halfway in the middle now. Right? Like from, let's say, the Chinese side, they understand, oh, that's like a cultural thing with them. They're very direct. They don't mean it to like offend you. They don't mean it to like single you out. That's just how they work.
Right.
But at the other side, like if you're Swede or,
or anyone, or like an American, just a European, or like anyone that's in general.
And you have to understand like, okay, in China, that's really culturally, that's also not how it works either. So everyone meets everyone in the middle, and just the very understanding of that, all of a sudden you're like, okay, and then people can get along and work more effectively. That's
absolutely,
very true,
absolutely. And again, it's not as easy. Sometimes there's a lot of like cultural, like deeper values that clash, or just like company culture, or like personalities. Like people have also personalities, not just about culture. But at least getting that awareness out can help at least ease the tensions, that sometimes can be created.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way. That seems very effective to me because, a lot of times I guess we go about thinking, oh, we need to change the other person. We need to change these like deeply rooted cultural behaviors or biases or ways of thinking, whatever it is. But you're not going to change that, nor necessarily should you. And so it's not about changing it, but it's just something as simple as having that conversation and bring awareness to both sides so everyone knows like, oh, okay, so that's what's going on here. Oh, I thought it was this. I thought he was just being an asshole. But no, that's not. It's, oh, okay, I see now. And then everyone calms down. Everyone doesn't take it personally anymore, right? And there's not so much tension and frustration and anger. Everyone kind of gets it, even though they still might not change.
Right.
But they're aware of what's happening at least. And that could help. I mean, that could help greatly.
Absolutely. And good luck changing people. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
if they don't want to change, that's just not going to happen.
You're wasting your time.
You are. And like, you're also wasting energies, because like changing someone who doesn't understand or want to change, it's never going to happen. Like, we have a hard time enough to change ourselves when we really, really want to. Think of anyone who wants to quit smoking or like start exercising, and we have 100% of control over ourselves. Think about how hard it is to change someone else.
Yeah.
So